Hellboy. Boy oh boy. Hell is where I'd much rather be than have to watch this movie ever again. What up, my dudes? Steph Koza here, coming at you from my living room floor. My studio room is a mess right now. I've had a really long day. If you watched my Star Wars trailer reaction, you know how my day has gone. Shooting from a different camera because my camera I just can't deal with right now. There's just, I just got a lot going on today, and this is what you're gonna get. I'm running on like 2 hours of sleep. Gonna do my best here. Hellboy. Boy oh boy. Hell is where I'd much rather be than have to watch this movie ever again. Oh. Okay, so I truly thought this Hellboy remake, which by the way, I felt was a little bit unnecessary because Guillermo del Toro already made Hellboy and it was pretty good, and I don't really know why we had to redo it, but we did. And when it was cast, I was like, okay, David Harbour is actually a pretty good pick for Hellboy. He has like the body kind of down. He's a really good actor. He's got kind of the voice. Like, he's pretty cool. Like, I was excited. I was like, yes, David Harbour, I love you. He's great in Stranger Things. Big fan. So I was like, I was getting on board. I was like, okay, all right, let's see what you got. And then I saw the movie, and it just, what? So the director, I have to Google it because I don't remember his name. Neil Marshall. This movie is directed by Neil Marshall, and he is known for some horror movies and just like really intense like action, bloody gore movies, and like a lot of random episodes of TV shows like Game of Thrones, Westworld, Constantine, Black Sails, and like that's about it. So if you've seen the movie with that in mind, you might understand a little bit of why it looked the way that it did. So there'll be no spoilers in this video, don't worry, but I don't even know where to begin with this movie. I really hardly have anything good to say. Honestly, the only thing I actually enjoyed was like the last 10 minutes of the movie, which includes the after credit scene, which was honestly, like, the after credit scene is better than the movie. It was the only time I laughed. And like, this is Hellboy. Hellboy is kind of silly. It's a ridiculous concept. Hellboy himself is supposed to be funny. He's supposed to like make jokes. It's like his weird personality quirk is that he's like, oh, I make jokes to deal with my problems. And the entire movie, I did not laugh once. I didn't even chuckle. I didn't even do that thing where you're like, like I literally just, nothing was funny. There were so many parts where you could tell they were trying to make a joke. Like, it was written as a joke, but they just weren't funny. Nothing was funny about this script. Nothing was good about this script. The dialogue was so cheesy. It was like, honestly felt like a really bad 90s movie where the villain is like, soon you will succumb to my evil and I will get revenge on blah blah blah, and just like that really stereotypical cookie cutter like 90s movie villain, you know what I'm talking about? That is what this movie felt like all the villain and then her like weird Bebop from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles sidekick, like it was a giant hog mutant man. Like, it was Bebop. Convince me otherwise. His character literally made me cringe. His dialogue was terrible. The animation of him and of everything, like all the CG, looks really bad. Like, I felt like I was watching a movie from like 2005. Like, I think we're better than that now. It's freaking 2019. There's so much horrible green screen. Like, almost the entire movie feels like it's on a green screen, and like a really obvious green screen, not like a I wonder, no, like, it's like that is not happening. This is it's just taking me out of it. Visually, it looked really sloppy. Like, they just didn't put enough time into it, or there was no like passion that went into this. It was just, I don't even know what they were trying to do. And the other thing that really bothered me was this movie has like really conflicting visual styles. It also has a really big problem with its rating. I'll start with the rating because it kind of leads into the style. So it's rated R, but this movie absolutely should not have been rated R, okay? Because the only thing that made it rated R was the villains, particularly the weird bebop villain, just says fuck like every other word, like fucking die, you fucking piece of shit. And I was like, are you like a 13-year-old boy? Why are you talking like this? Oh my god, I just can't. I just can't. There was no need for that. Aside from that dialogue, everything else in the movie felt like a PG kids movie. So it was like the script of a PG kids movie with the word fuck randomly thrown about all the time. And then on top of that, which leads into the ridiculous visual style, is the fact that there is so, like, the most unnecessary amount of gore in this movie that I literally do not even understand remotely why they did this. Like, it was just so, like, okay, don't get me wrong. I am a huge fan of gore. I love gore. I love violence. Like, I'm all about the fucked up, gory mess. And I know Hellboy is, like, dark and, like, fucked up, but I did not sign up for this, okay? This movie at times felt like I was watching some really grotesque, like, disturbing horror movie. Every single fight scene had extremely graphic, gory violence, like to the point where I was cringing and looking away, and I was like, this isn't even a pivotal fight scene. This is like the first 10 minutes into the movie, and you're like ripping people in half, and there's like excessive amounts of like really bright, saturated blood coming out of them, and it's like spraying everywhere, and there's like eyeballs popping out of people's faces and brains falling out, and I was like, this is it's so extreme. And they partnered that with some like really extreme, intense editing, like really close shots, really fast cuts, really in your face. Like everything was happening so fast and it was super jarring. And I felt like I was gonna have a heart attack while I was watching this movie. There was so much going on and I was like, this is so intense, I just want to go home. But the gore and the visuals really got me. Like there are some scenes that truly were horrifying. Like, I truly feel like it was a horror movie. But then other parts felt like I was watching a kid's movie. Like, if they really wanted to go with this horror motif, they should have made the whole movie that way. Because then maybe it wouldn't have felt so weird. Maybe it would have been a little smoother. Maybe I even would have been into it because I like that kind of thing. It just felt very out of place because it would be like a fun, happy, kind of cheesy 90s kids movie, and then it would be like the most terrifying visual thing I've ever seen in my life, and I'm gonna have nightmares about fucking Baba Yaga. Oh my god, Baba Yaga in this movie. There's a character that will get, I promise you will get nightmares. And the worst part is that she was actually like kind of cool. Like I was like, wow, her design is pretty cool. Like she's terrifying. I would watch a horror movie based around this concept, but it just didn't fit in this film. Like it felt very out of place. The way that it was shot felt very like a horror film, which this is not. Just the style was all over the place. And on top of that, these horrific, disturbing scenes that were like really dark and really like horror were also like color corrected to be very bright and saturated, which is very odd and off-putting and confusing. Everything about this movie was jarring. It felt like there were scenes taken out, like that they didn't connect very smoothly. The plot was the pacing was terrible. I was so bored basically the entire time. I don't feel like I really got any connection or development with any of the characters. There were a lot of characters and they were all just sort of introduced one by one slowly. So like by the end, I finally knew everyone, but it took so long to get there that I was just not emotionally invested in them. I wasn't emotionally invested in them as a team. So like when shit hits the fan, I'm just like, I don't care. Figure out your shit. I want to go home. I truly, truly considered walking out of the theater, which I have never done in my life. I've never walked out of the theater. I think it's, no matter how shitty the movie is, I think it's rude to the people who made it because, you know, it was someone's passion project. Like someone worked really, really hard on this and it's disrespectful to shit all over it. But here I am shitting all over it. But I don't like to walk out of the theater. I just can never bring myself to do it. But I truly thought about it. I was like, I really just cannot sit here anymore. Oh my God. I was just so painfully bored and disturbed and I just wanted to leave. I'm sorry. I don't know why this movie exists. And it's weird because I feel like they had a lot of faith in this movie because it kind of sets itself up for a sequel, but like I don't know if it's gonna get one because it was super rough. And they barely advertised for this movie. I almost forgot that it was coming out. I went opening night, the first showing, and there were like 3 people there. And I'm in New York. There are millions of people here who are always at the movies. Every time I go to a movie, it's like sold out. And there were maybe 5 people in the entire audience on opening night. Like, that is bad. They did something wrong. They need a new marketing team, or just, it was rough. It was just, and I mean, I do think part of it has to do with the fact that Hellboy is also just like a really hard character to nail down. Like, the comic is kind of weird. Like, it's difficult to translate that to the screen because there's a lot of weird monsters and creatures, and the concept is a little bit ridiculous. I almost feel like you have to tackle it from like a Guardians of the Galaxy perspective and just make it really funny and self-aware that it's kind of silly and ridiculous. Like Shazam, they did that concept really well, where like it's such a like almost stupid thing, but they made it fun and they made you somehow not really feel like it's stupid at all. And they did that so well, but this movie it just was so cheesy. They went too serious with it, and I don't think you should be serious with Hellboy. Like I can never say his name. Guillermo del Toro. You know who I'm talking about. His movies, a lot of people really like them. I even didn't really love them just because, once again, Hellboy is just like a difficult character and story to put on the screen. Like, it's just hard to do. But I think he did a really good job with his movies, all things considered. I think the second one went a little off the rails, but the first one was like pretty solid. I think they should have just given him the budget for this movie and let him complete his trilogy, because I would have much rather seen that than this pile of dog shit that I had to sit through. I don't waste your time. Just don't. I'm trying to think of what to rate this, and I'm like very close to giving it a 0, but I'm not going to give it a 0 because I have seen worse movies. I think the last 5 minutes of the movie were kind of enjoyable. I think David Harbour was okay. I think it was honestly just the script was really bad. I think if he had been given a good script, he would have been a really good Hellboy. There was one scene near the very end that was really awesome. I think you should just like wait until somebody puts it on YouTube and watch it, because it like gave me a lady boner. Oh, and that just reminded me of something else. The soundtrack for this movie makes absolutely no sense. Like, once again, conflicting styles, very jarring, all over the place. I remember there was one part in particular where they went from like power metal to dubstep to really slow orchestral, sad, emotional music in the span of like 20 seconds. And they didn't flow into each other, they just like jarringly cut to each other. And it made the whole flow of the scene just super all over the place, very jarring. I know I keep saying jarring, but like that is the word I would use to describe this movie. It's incredibly jarring in every possible way. It was just a rough time. But that one scene that I'm telling you about was really cool. Like, I'm not gonna bullshit you. It was really, it got me kind of pumped up. I was like, yes, this is badass. And then it went right back to being shit. Yes, because of that, and because David Harbour was as good as he probably could have been, I'm gonna give this movie a 1 out of 5. Yeah, way to go, Hellboy. 1 out of 5. You did it. Woo! Definitely the worst movie of 2019 so far. Like, hands down. Just the worst. So yeah, that's it for my Hellboy review. I don't even know if I want to waste my time doing a spoiler review. I just am so irritated. But if you saw Hellboy, let me know in the comments below what you thought about it. If anybody liked it, I would really love to hear your point of view, because you're super wrong. But I am curious to hear what you have to say, so let me know in the comments below. Let's talk about it. Also, feel free to hop on to our Discord chat room to talk about this movie. There will be a link in the description below. You just have to become a patron and then you can join the chat room and talk about this movie and other movies and whatever. But that's it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. My name is Steph Koza. Be sure to subscribe to this channel if you're into that. Smash the like button if you like this video. Hit that little bell icon if you want to get a notification every time I post a video so you don't miss a thing. But that's it for today. Thank you guys so much for watching this video and watching me just want to die on the inside. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!